All right, Steve, you're on with Logan. Go ahead.
Logan Storley, this is Steve Jewin from MMA Mania, and it's good to talk to you again today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's good to hear, and congratulations on your new multi-fight deal with Bellator, and this fight you've got coming up at Bellator 233. So, which came first? Did you get the new contract, or did you know you were having a fight?
Yeah, we got the contract done, and then we were just waiting. We've been shifting around different fighters, and so this is what they came up with.
Well, it looks like EJ Brooks is a pretty good opponent for you for this card, a 5-fight winning streak, and all 5 by decision, so obviously he's a tough grinder.
Yeah, he was a former Division I wrestler, and, he's no slouch, and, he's a good competitor.
Is this specifically who you asked for, or were there multiple options on the table as you previously kind of hinted?
Yeah, we had a few other guys, and this is what they came up with, kind of last short notice. And so, at the end of the day, you got to go out there and compete. It doesn't matter who it's against. So
that's very true. But was the plan all along to be at Bellator 233, or would you have taken a fight on a later card if this hadn't panned out at the last minute?
I haven't fought in a while, and so we were trying to get on, a card earlier, and nothing. A lot of guys were busy, and so finally we got this fight. So honestly, I was just ready to fight. Didn't matter where.
That's fair, but do you think a lot of guys end up being quote unquote busy because they really just don't want to face you?
Yeah, I'm sure, especially for guys that don't want to face that wrestling and that grinding, they know that I'm a bad matchup for them.
Indeed, and you're undefeated as well, so a lot of people that, pardon the French, think they're hot shit might suddenly realize they're not if they get in there with you.
Yeah, a lot of guys, everyone has their own specific skill set, but there's a big difference from my wrestling and my pace and what a lot of guys have faced. I train with 4 of the top guys in the, top 15 at welterweight in the UFC, and I got multiple guys in Bellator, from 45 to 185. I train with one of the best gyms in the world, and, so I know exactly where I'm at and where I need to improve, and, I know that my wrestling's world class.
It's been nothing short of that ever since the first time I saw you at the Bellator 204 show in Sioux Falls. So talk a little bit more to me about those teammates of yours and how they're making you the next level fighter.
Yeah, it's just, you got guys, Robbie Lawler's a guy I spend almost every day with, and then you have Usman and Chandler and Gilbert Burns. Vicente Luque was in for this fight camp. There's all kinds of guys, and Michael Johnson and Jason Jackson, the list goes on. And these are just guys that you get in there every day with, and they're all world-class guys. And so I really enjoy training with that because, if you do something wrong, they're going to, find that mistake and they're going to help you. And a lot of those guys I've helped with, their wrestling. And so it's a two-way street, and they help me and I help them. And, but it gives you a lot of confidence going into every fight, knowing, you're facing the top guys in the world on a daily basis.
That is a bunch of killers that you're working with, no question. And a good coincidence for me because I did a UFC 244 roundtable on Between Rounds this week, and I picked Vicente Luque to beat Stephen Thompson, and my reasoning was he's just too good right now, and Stephen Thompson kind of looks lost out there, and I feel like Vicente is going to really take advantage of him. Do you feel the same way from training with him?
Yeah, he felt great. His hands felt great. He's getting better in all positions, and he's a tough guy. Not very many people want to get hit by him over and over, and he's got a high pace, and he sets a good pace in every fight. And when he lands, look at Perry's nose. He made it look like he smashed it. So Vicente's the real deal, and I'm excited for him this weekend. It's a big fight for him.
And how do you think Kamaru Usman will do against Colby Covington? Give me your thoughts on that fight.
I think it'll be exciting for him and Colby. Two good wrestlers, and little different style. Colby's more of a more more action. I wouldn't say more action, but just whereas Kamaru is a lot more powerful. I think.
More action from his mouth. Colby, if he's got anything, he's got action coming out of his lips.
Yeah. And he has his shots are, smaller shots, and, there's he throws more punches probably than most people, but, Kamaru's strong and a great wrestler. And so it'll be interesting to see how that wrestling, who gets the better of those transitions and those positions, because that's what will really make a difference in this fight for those two.
I feel like when it comes to pure power, there's no way Colby's going to beat Kamaru in that category. But like you said, on the wrestling, it might be close. But let's get back to your fight with E.J. Brooks. So where do you rate him as being the strongest in this fight? He does a great job of just being hard to hit and hard to get a hold of. You watch his fights, he moves really well. He moves backwards the whole time. Not backwards, but, he moves side to side and backwards, and it's hard to get a hold of him, and it's hard to hit him with a clean shot. And so, you have to pick your shots right and be smart about it. And at the same time, he's got good wrestling. Hardly anybody's taking him down. He's got big legs and he's heavy. So, it's going to be one of those fights where you have to pick your shots smartly. But I'm going to go in there and set the pace. That's what I do. Set the pace. Even if, you get stuffed in a couple shots, no big deal, because I can keep that pace the whole time, and I can win those transitions and those scrambles. And, that's kind of what I've done every fight, even situations where, I get stuffed on a takedown. You have to defend them off for 15 minutes, and you have to keep the pace for 15 minutes and on the cage. And so it's positions like that, you really start to open up a fight. But, it's going to be a tough fight, and I know that and understand that, and, I'm excited for it. Well, and the one thing that I think EJ needs to be especially cautious of is, even if it took you 2 or 3 attempts, which I don't think it would necessarily take, all it takes is one, because you are real heavy on top. And I mean, with the position, with the way that you can suffocate an opponent just by pressuring them even from full guard and your ground and pound, I don't think anybody really wants to deal with that.
Yeah, that's one of those things that we've been working on and just continue to improve on. And, we keep adding things to the arsenal every single time, and want to make sure that we can start finishing these fights on the ground. If you get a guy there, we want to finish him. And, I think he's only been finished once in his 18 fights. So, that would be a notch in the belt to go in there and finish this guy. He's a tough competitor. And so that'd be, one of those things that we're looking at, is to really go in there and just make the fight hell for him.
Well, it may seem to some people like you're more of a decision fighter if they've watched the 3 out of your last 4 fights in Bellator, but I would tell people to look at the other half of your record, which is 7 out of 10 fights have been finished in the first or second round.
Yeah, those fights were all tough guys. They're tough guys that all presented different problems, and like I said, we're improving, and we're trying to get to, positions where we can be dominant and finish the fight. And that's, a big goal of mine, and I continue to improve on that every day. And so, those last opponents, they've all been good guys, and, have been tough to finish. So, we just got to keep improving.
How long after this E.J. Brooks fight with a win, which I'm presuming is the case, but we'll find out next Friday, but how long after that before you're getting a crack at those guys right at the top, like Lorenz Larkin and Andrei Koreshkov? When do you get those fights? What do you think?
Yeah, and I've always said, it's that wrestler's mentality, is you take care of what's in front of you. And right now, E.J. Brooks is in front of me. But, after this fight, go in there and be dominant, I would, then it's time to start looking at these guys at 11-0. And, it's time to start looking at the top guys in the division and go from there. But like I said, I got a tough fight in front of me, and I'm going to take care of him first and hopefully go in there and get the finish. And then we'll sit down and talk with Bellator and see where we're at.
Well, I appreciate you keeping everything in front of you and not putting the cart ahead of the horse. But you also have to feel like at this point with Douglas Lima beating Rory McDonald to reclaim the title, that's got to shake up the landscape and give you a lot more openings to get those big fights.
Yeah, that was tough. It was a good fight. Lima looked really good, and Rory just didn't attack, like he did in his semifinal fight. He looked great, and just wasn't the same guy. But yeah, it's interesting, now with Lima on top, and he's fought a lot of those guys, the top guys already, a time
exactly.
or two. Korshkov, he's fought what?
Three
times or something?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah. So, and I think he fought Larkin, right? He fought Larkin too,
he did,
I think.
Yes.
And so I don't know. Bellator is going to have to try to make some new fights, so it's not the same thing over and over. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what they start doing with us younger fighters, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think with a multi-fight contract under your belt now and this opportunity at Bellator 233, you're perfectly placed to be that guy that he hasn't fought before. So hopefully that's in your future. But right now, EJ Brooks is in your presence. So I know you're getting ready for that. And I want to give you this time before I let you go to plug anything you want to plug, thank your teammates, sponsors, all of that.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sanford Health and American Ethanol for being great sponsors, and Oak Grove as well. They've always been there for me and helped me, continue to train and do what I love every single day.
All right. Well, maybe Sanford Health will be able to get you another fight at the Sanford Pentagon, because I'd love to come back to see you fight again, and let's make that happen. But for now, it's Thackerville, Oklahoma. So have a great fight at the WinStar World Casino.
Exactly.
And thank you, Logan, for the time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. And thank you, Dan, as well.
Yep. Thanks, Steve.